Hello my Young Justice fans, Dark Superboy here with another video loosely based on our favourite superhero series, because we will be diverting from the Young Justice universe to the DC animated movie universe. And it's Young Justice related because we might be finally get to see an entire movie voiced by the talented Jason Spizak portraying one of Young Justice's beloved characters, Wally West. Let's begin.
Go fast, gotta go fast, gotta go faster, 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 faster.
As per usual with my theoretical videos, I do want to officially state this is entirely speculative. There has been no official production announced of this movie, but if you bear with me and watch this video all the way through, I think you find there is sufficient evidence and clues that it will be something we will see in the foreseeable future. As it is a very long story, we'll start at the beginning with a comic book line called Flashpoint. Now, for those of you who are not well versed in what the Flashpoint Paradox is, I will run down the basics of it for you to catch up. Second incarnation of the Flash, Barry Allen, decides to go back in time and save his mother from being brutally murdered. Saving her mother creates an offshoot of the timeline, which Barry Allen returns to in the form of the Flashpoint Paradox Earth. In this Earth, Superman crash-landed on Metropolis, wiped out half the population, and since infancy was captured by the American government and effectively tortured to try and figure out how he ticked. Bruce Wayne no longer became the Batman. In fact, Bruce Wayne died in Crime Alley as shot by the criminal, and his dad, who survived, took over the role. Aquaman and Wonder Woman decide to try and kill each other over some marital disputes and nearly take the world with them. And the Flash lost his powers, so he can't go back in time immediately and fix it. Fortunately, he is able to regain his powers and goes back in time and immediately tries to fix the situation. This changes the timeline, almost restoring it, but gives us the new comic line of the New 52.
This could be the start of something new.
So, you may have noticed I never actually mentioned Wally in the Flashpoint Paradox, and that's because he was never really relevant in the Flashpoint Paradox, because he was never Kid Flash in the Flashpoint Paradox, since Barry never met Iris, and since Wally is Iris's nephew, therefore there was no meeting of Barry and Wally recreating Barry's experiment, which made Wally Kid Flash. So he wasn't relevant at the time. But when the New 52 timeline was restored, we expected to see him come back. But he didn't come back. And after months of waiting, fans for Wally decided to demand what had happened to their beloved character. And DC decided to try and solve that request by giving them Kid Flash. But it wasn't the Kid Flash we were expecting. It was a different ethnicity, different backstory, and different costume. And for the purposes of runtime, and for the purposes of not going into that debate or argument or I think it's not even relevant to the video, so I'm going to be skipping that conversation entirely. Needless to say that reception for the new version of Wally West in New 52 was diverse, and therefore DC Comics decided to release the original version into the comic line as well. So we had two Kid Flashes and two Wally West now in the New 52 timeline.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
And with those two Flashes, two stories emerged. The newer version of Kid Flash went off and did his own superhero thing, but the older version of Kid Flash had many situations to resolve, namely that all his friends and family had forgotten him. Barry, the original Flash, had forgotten who he was. His wife had forgotten who he was. His kids didn't even exist. The Justice League didn't have a clue who he was. And his long-time friends and fellow teammates, the Teen Titans, had forgotten who he was. And he spent the last couple of years in the comics fixing those issues. Now, what this has to do with a Wally West Kid Flash movie is that we've actually started seeing the groundwork of that plot, modern day comic plot lines being created. Namely, we've already had the introduction of the Flashpoint Paradox, the New 52 storylines in the past DC animated movies, but we are going to have the introduction of a second version of the Kid Flash in a future DC animated movie, which has been proven with this image that has been released during a DC animated movie promotion at a convention, which shows images for the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War promotional art, which has a second version of Wally West that matches the New 52 version of Wally West in the different design and different ethnicity. But could this just simply be a design change on the directors and producers' part and not actually have anything to do with a future plotline? Not whatsoever. Methinks no, because the director of Justice League Apocalypse War and Justice League Judas Contract, the original film that featured the original Wally West, are both directed by the same man, Sam Liu. And I highly doubt the man who has been skilled in almost every DC animated movie would make such a blundering error as to have two different designs for the same character. I think this is the beginnings of a Wally West animated movie of the original Wally West coming back after Flashpoint to discover he has been replaced by a new version of him, and he has to spend that movie going around repairing all the damage that has been done by the Flashpoint Paradox in his own personal life. Again, we've already seen the works of this. Judas Contract went to a lot of effort to introduce the older version of the Kid Flash with the flashback of how the team met Starfire, that they went to such extraordinary lengths to put Kid Flash in there and have Jason portray the role of Kid Flash, to just forget about it and then go with the new guy, that this is the groundworks for that movie. This is the groundworks for a solo Wally West film. Not only are those two bits of evidence key, but we've also got to remember the outcry of fans in the last year of when Wally West died in Young Justice. People were devastated by his death. People are still asking cast and crew to this day, what happened to Wally? And Sam again works with Young Justice, so he's probably seeing this Wally West demand and seeing how the character is still loved by all, and it would make sheer sense to make a movie and use that fandom to advantage. No one's going to think, oh, this fan is loved by everyone, let's just ignore it. Let's use it, let's make a movie. Not only that, but because Jason Spizak voiced Kid Flash in the Judas Contract film, it would make sense that he comes back to do this film, which means we could just have an entire film of Wally West voiced by Jason Spizak, which any Young Justice fan would love. Also, again, Sam has worked in Young Justice, and that means he knows and has spoken with Jason Spizak, so therefore it would be easy for them to agree, okay, let's do a movie together. If it's true, it's the most anticipated DC animated movie I would be ever looking forward to. I hope they do it. But what do you think? Do you think I've shown you enough evidence in past DC animated films and upcoming animated films to think that they'll make a Wally West Kid Flash movie? Would you like to see that movie? Or would you prefer to see more time of the new version of Kid Flash, have some more time before he is replaced or overshadowed by the past Kid Flash? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I've been Dark Superboy. This has been a video on the DC animated movie / Young Justice. Please like, comment and subscribe. Your support is everything. And as always, let hope burn bright. Goodbye.